We are here at Salon Prive, and Curtis, we're going to give our top 5 cars today because there are such a selection here, but it has to be this.
We're starting off with the Ferrari Enzo 2004. This exact one has only done 13,000 miles on the clock since 2004, so it's hardly been driven. You're talking a 6-litre engine, V12, you're talking 651 brake horsepower, 486 newton meters of torque. It is Ferrari's, well, it depends who you're talking to. People are gonna if and are on this. I'm gonna say it's Ferrari's first initial hypercar. That's what I'm gonna say it is.
I'll agree with you.
People may disagree with me there, but I'm gonna say that.
But this car's got something very unique. Actually, underneath the bonnet, it has the full 2005 F1 team signatures on here. So we're going to get the bonnet lifted up now. And within this detail...
This is incredible, isn't it?
So the car's worth how much, Curtis?
So this car is worth 2.6 million.
I think it's 2.8, but we won't go there. The bonnet
Oh,
alone,
gosh.
I think the bonnet probably going for auction could be 100 grand on its own, definitely. But here, I think look at all the signatures.
But you wouldn't, the thing is, even with all of these signatures, you wouldn't want to get rid of this bonnet. You would actually want it on the car like this. You'd never auction it off. It is part of the car with them signatures on. I absolutely love this car. From the look, to the way it sounds, to the way it moves, to back in 2004.
2 quad.
Yeah, the quad exhaust from back in 2004. The speed that they managed to get out of a 6-litre V12, that's phenomenal. It's mental.
As you can see, we've got the charge car here with the battery actually in the hood. It is, Curtis.
Which is creating 500 brake horsepower from these engines. Now, with a 0 to 60 time of 3.9 seconds, this is the Mustang, and it is from the 1967 Fastback. That's
model,
what it is, yeah. Which, you know what, it looks absolutely beautiful. I would love one of these. The thing is, bar the body shape, it shows no resemblance whatsoever of the actual Fastback. Let's be honest.
But that's the whole point of it. The one reason why it's in the top 5 is because it's about moving forward. It's about taking an old car. It's got style, personality, movement through it, body shape, but obviously moving it into the 21st century with an electric engine.
As you can
no. One problem.
What?
It's only in left-hand drive, and they're not making them in right-hand drive, and it's £350,000. £350,000.
Yeah, that is actually mental, because I think you can buy an original one for,
on the note though,
about 60,000.
These are very detailed, and I do like this, and I love the logo, and I do love everything about this car. So I feel like the only way we can actually do more on this video is actually drive the car.
Oh, I like it. To be fair, I would like to get a feel of it. Compare it to an original Fastback compared to this, because they are so different. You've got the pure power of electricity here, 4 newton meters of torque. Looking in though here, it's a very plain interior. I like how it's got no central column, no central panel. It's all clear, nice and easy, very simplicity. I do like the seats and the colour of the interior, but I just feel, and I know it's the modern, I know it's the new, but I feel like it's missing an engine. And I know it's missing an engine. But a Mustang, you've got that American muscle, you want to hear the grumble, you want to be driving with a stick right next to you.
You just want the Clive Sutton Mustang, which we'll talk about later another time, because that is pure power. But no, I think it's great. I love the lights as well. It is exactly what is wrote on the tin, like it's an electric car.
Would I drive one? Would I have it? I think I would, to be fair.
What, for 350 grand?
Maybe not.
We are doing a roundup of our top 5 cars here at Salon Prive, but for me, I know we're not going for number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but this is number 1 by far. It is the 1956 Mercedes-Benz 300SL Gullwing. It is the pinnacle of perfection, in my opinion, that is. But some things that I've noticed today, like looking at it, like the actual front bumper does actually look like a moustache that comes around at the front.
But I like it. It's
good.
It molds with the car, and it just goes with the pure classic design.
This is if I won the lottery, the car that has to be in the garage. But more importantly, there's the detail, like even the struts here, just look at it. It's been thought about. It's been made in perfection.
the whole lot.
The steering wheel, Kurt, the dials, like, this is not an easy car to drive. And actually, I was looking at Nico Rosberg, because he's got one of these, and the way that he has to start it up with the kind of bringing in the choke and the electric start engine, it was quite hard to make sure it started. But when it did, like,
but it's just it's finished off so elegantly, isn't it?
But the one thing that I do have to say, in Nico Rosberg's 300SL, he has the original leather. So when he got into it, he was like being super careful, whereas obviously this has been finished with something, well, it's been up to date, and actually it's quite comfy. But this is just everything about this car, every line, every accent, every single little level of detail. It's heritage, and it is only going to increase in value, in my opinion. And yeah,
it's a car that if you had it, you wouldn't need to race it around driving. You wouldn't be needing to use that 3 litre, that 220 brake horsepower, that 200 newton meters of torque in that front engine rear wheel drive car. You wouldn't want to use it. All you would want to do
Curtis,
is just drive in style with your arm hanging out the window, if the window's even open, and just loving life. And that's all you would want.
But seriously, no, Curtis, this is my number one, and by far here, the highlight of my day. Done, highlight of the year, dusted. This is it. It's just one.
I mean, in the reality of it, just looking at it, it is so suave, so sleek, and the Gullwing doors, it's beautiful. Genuinely is.
We are here with the Pro Drive, the Hunter, but one detail I have to put in here, actually with the Bahrain number plate, because this car has got so much. It's got passion, it's got history, but I think what is great about this is actually, I feel like I should call it the bigger brother, this Hunter, because actually the car that does the Dakar, because of regulations, has to be a little bit slower, a little bit underpowered, but this
car... this road legal one, we are talking 600 brake horsepower, 700 newton meters of torque with that 3.5 litre V6 twin turbo engine. It's quick. But it's an all-terrain vehicle. This is not for the road. Have you seen how wide this is, AJ? If we're in London right now, if you drove this around town and you got stuck at a width restriction, you're just screwed.
No, because the width restriction always has them annoying curves. The idea of this car is you drive over the curve and you don't have to worry about it.
I mean, literally, as you can see it, if we just drop down here, look at the whole suspension they've got here, the rods
the suspension on this one, the road legal car, is actually greater than the travel that they actually have on the Dakar. This has got more travel.
It's just
double
fantastic, isn't it?
Wishbone.
But there is one problem. If we move around to the side, let's have a look at this. I think this wasn't really built on design. It was built for durability, for on any condition, whatever you want, driving however you want.
You go with your design feature, then I'll go for my design feature, okay?
Right, so if we come around to the side and we have a look at it, I feel like it looks like
a McLaren
12C stung by a wasp when it's just got blown up and had an allergic reaction. Let's have a look. Can you just see what I mean? Like, it literally, because there's no edginess and punchiness to it, it just looks smooth and like everything's just been blown out. It hasn't actually been built and fitted.
I get what you're saying, but I'm going to go for the detail. What I love, Curtis, is the attention to detail. When it comes down to the side exhaust, like the panels coming in here, like this actually is pretty epic.
I love that, I agree.
And then the other detail that has to be the door panels. It actually has the stage of the Bahrain Dakar, like right now.
I do agree, that a little attention to detail.
Like, this detail is amazing, considering you're in something that is pure for, well, speed over all-terrain, just pure passion.
And actually, for the size of this vehicle, this is a full SUV and it's actually only 1,700 kilograms. Which so for the size of it, it's not bad at all.
Yeah, considering what it is. Like, obviously, it's got the carbon. It doesn't actually have a full monocoque because it's built around the roll cage, but it's got carbon around all the sides. So you feel pretty safe in there, I would definitely, being wrapped around.
You're about 2 foot off the floor. Like,
yeah, I know.
But we need a step ladder to get in. You can drive over anything on this.
But no, honestly, this car is epic, and I do actually love this kind of, what you could class as, I'm colourblind, so I call it like that weird hearing aid colour. You know how you have a hearing aid?
Oh my God, as if you just said that, that's so true.
And it actually looks like that. But I'm colourblind. But then again, you want to be like,
that's so true. Now I'm just picturing your granddad's ears with just that hearing aid colour in it.
But on the serious note, it's amazing. If I did have, yes, you've heard me correct it, 1.25 million pounds, I would love it for a little nip around on the
But the thing is, this is purely, it's a gimmick. It's a bit of fun. You're buying this car.
What?
If you've got a spare bit of money, or you're living in Dubai.
Come on, let's bring it around to the
what
front.
it is.
Yeah, no, it is pretty epic. But the
look
size
at
of it. Stand over there. It's quite a distance, isn't it?
It's just huge. The width of it, the front of it. Driving in this, you know you could just overtake anything and drive over anything if it doesn't want you to overtake it. That's what you're going to be doing with it.
Just epic.
I'm just noticing as we look closer, you've actually got the wires here which go through into the window wipers, so it sprays water, cleaning fluid, whatever it is you've got in there, straight through the window wipers onto the windscreen, no messing, a little bit like an S-Class.
So you're saying the Hunter's like an S-Class. So on that point then...
And whatever that car is in the background, that sounds unbelievable.
Let's move on to another top 5. We have actually looked at 5 cars today, which we absolutely loved. Our top 5, for me, number 1, not that we were doing it in number 1, had to be the 300SL Gullwing. It is just, it's perfect.
It is one of your
There's nothing
dream
that I would
cars,
change on it.
It is. We've also seen the Charger. We've also seen the Ferrari Enzo, which, I mean, that is a poster boy car, let's be honest. And we've also seen what is AJ?
Oh, the Hunter Pro Drive. It is monstrous. I don't even know what you'd use that for, but at 1.25 million, it is quite a pretty penny.
Well, you'd use it in the desert, in the only place it is blimmin' built for, really, in reality.
Even though every test shot is done on the perfect roads in London.
But there's one more car that we've got to talk about, and this has to be in the top 5, just purely for its 1-to-1 weight ratio, and it is pure, elegant, wild, and just phenomenal design.
But it's just uncompromising. The aero itself on the Tushek is just brilliant. And Curtis, I know you did say some things were a bit wobbly on it, but you can see that in the other video. But it has to happen, so we're going to go and check it out right now.
We are here with Tushek, and as you can see behind us, we've got the one and only Tushek TS900 Apex. It is phenomenal. Just the look of it from here, it's beautiful. It is absolutely an eye candy car to look at, and it is a 1.2 million pound hypercar with a weight to power ratio of 1-to-1. Actually, if you come look over here, it is better. If you look at it, we've got 1,351 brake horsepower to 1,343 kilograms of weight. Put it like this, if you sit in that car, you put your foot down and you're on a track, you'll be having the day, the time of your life. Let's get a close look at it.
Just pure aero. Come down here, look at this.
There's more aero on this than an F1 car. It's ridiculous.
I think the thing for me, like Tushek builds exquisite race-bred hypercars with key focus on low weight and pure balance of power to weight ratio. Like, it's about perfection. There seems to be no compromise here. The one thing that I do like about this, Curtis, is that I was reading this on the spec sheet here, and they kind of said, like, obviously, you can order them here. It's a debut. It's UK here at Salon Prive, but they only allow you to spec certain things to make sure they still keep the 1-to-1 weight ratio.
And there's only
so
36 of them, isn't there?
I think 35 of them.
Yeah,
so if you said, I want this sound system and I want this air conditioner or I want this, then they'd be like, nah, that's not getting 1-to-1 weight ratio. And I love that fact.
They'll still add it, but you won't have that 1-to-1 weight ratio.
No, they won't.
Oh, will they not?
They won't.
Well, there you go.
They won't. They want 1-to-1 weight ratio. That is the be all and end all here. But the thing is, Curtis was looking on the website, and you actually saw
they have the Racer Pro version coming out, and that actually has a 1.13-to-1 power to weight ratio. So that has more than 1 brake horsepower to each kilogram of the car.
This car is already absolutely crazy, but this one, Curtis, so this has 20% more downforce from the enormous rear wing, a new 20% bigger front aero pack, and the rear end of the car is 88 millimeters lower, plus a heightened performance brake cooling system, allowing 51% increase of the aeroflow to each carbon ceramic brake. Like, it's a 1.13-to-1 power to weight ratio, as Curtis said. But like, how can you even get a bigger rear wing? Look at the detail.
Just look at the rear of how this is done. Just from the power and the speed, you know that this car can go. It looks like it's stretched the rear of the car.
Look at this.
The design. Now, I wouldn't be able to drive this car whatsoever. I'm a 6'3" adult, and let's say I'm an adult, and I literally, my knees are pushed through the front of the car. My feet do touch the pedals, but I'm afraid I'd have to have a different set of pedals different setup. I do love the Alcantara steering wheel, the Alcantara front here.
So you couldn't drive this car?
The open carbon fibre on the roof here. The problem is my head's touching the roof.
You can't turn the steering wheel.
I'd end up banging my head on this every time we went over something. That's one of the problems here. I couldn't be able to do it, and the power and the force of this car, I wouldn't be able to stop myself from hitting my head there. And you gotta love it, and yeah, a £1.25 million car.
Yeah, but the thing is, you've got to take into consideration. A bit flimsy.
AJ, what? Look, it's not even screwed on properly.
This car's been driven though.
So either what they're saying is, it's got that much power that it'll unscrew its own bolts, or you need to be worried about that.
So for us, people blessed with the correct height of 5'7.5", maybe 8 if we're pushing it, it's much easier to get out of supercars. I feel like supercars have been designed for people like me, whereas people like Curtis should go to Pilates classes and are quite clearly not in the racing physique to get out. You should have got out the other way. You should have got top half out first.
No, because I think it's going to be easier. Oh God, my legs don't touch the ground. Oh. Lovely car.
Honestly guys, we hope you've enjoyed the video today. Please like, subscribe, turn on the bell notifications, and we hope you enjoy the video next week.
This video is powered by Collier's.
And did you know that 75% of all Rolls-Royce cars that were produced are still on the road right now?
Rolls-Royce owners must really love their cars.